So I went back and listened to some of a long actual whole Operation Warp Speed, all those crazy cats, all those crazy people. And they had 4 governors that this was your generals, and, all praising each other for getting on board with FedEx, UPS, CVS, Walgreens, your medical association, your nursing associations, your hospital systems, and all the governors. And Trump even referred, I was listening to some of this talk, and you can tell, you can go back and find it. It's December 2020. And you can tell he talks about the miracle drug that has decreased the virus by 85%. And that you can tell he's proud of. But when he talks about the vaccine, you can just, you have to watch it. I can't really explain it. And this was before this long, not interview, but whole stage theatrical thing with all these generals, all the people that were involved in Operation Warp Speed. And they went through step by step of what they were doing, okay? The thing is that Trump posted many times about Operation Warp Speed and Moderna coming out with their vaccine and Pfizer. And it made it seem to people like, yeah, they were all on board. But when you listen to Trump speak about this, he said they had bids out to these pharmaceutical companies. And he even mentioned, I think Pfizer took the money, our money, but they haven't, signed on. I think he knew they wouldn't. But they were still doing their little, science stuff. But I think really what Trump did was he set all these people up like a domino. Because they're all going to go down. They all became a public-private partnership. That's what it was. And the 4 top governors to take part in wanting to roll out, that CDC said had the best plans for an exceptional, successful rollout of the vaccines. Here's the top 4 governors, and they spoke at this. Louisiana's governor, Tennessee's Governor Bill Lee, Texas Governor's Abbott, and Florida Governor Desantis. The top governors to wanting all on board had a whole plan of how we're going to get people to take it. And yeah, they put it in a little gentler words, but really what they did was they employed all these people. Like Governor Abbott said, we gave people, the first people that get vaxxed, we're going to give them a reminder card where they have to go, when they have to go to return to get the second. He said this was a statewide communication using text, email, and all these other organizations. And even Trump said that FedEx is on board with this to deliver it, UPS's, CVS, Walgreens, all these people that did this thinking that they can get away. You can't do this shit. This is total. That means all of these companies and all of the governors were coercing the people. That's what it is. Trump talked too about the secret calls with the governors, and he said, I think just about every governor was on those secret calls with Operation Warp Speed. Just go back and listen to it. You can tell the difference in his tone, like that when he talks about the true treatments being the 85 decrease. That's the miracle drug he's talking about, the miracle stuff. This is what Governor Desantis had to say. He said that other governors said that this may not be a good thing. He said, but we leaned into it. We really leaned into it. We wanted to be the first to say that this is a good thing to take this. Every nursing home by December, every nursing home resident by December will be vaccinated, and then so will the healthcare workers. Yep. He said, quote, an inescapable way that folks will know exactly what they need to do. Finding an inescapable way. Louisiana's governor said, we're working with many groups so that people will know it's as safe. It's as safe, and that they want to do it. They want to take it. Pretty much they all said that. So that's what their whole plan was with all of these big corporations in their states. So I have a feeling that's maybe why Trump referred to Desantis as Sanctimonious. The generals of this Operation Warp Speed talked about how this was a 3-partnership deal with federal support, state managing, and locally executing. And these 4 governors were the top 4 that were on board with it. Now, moving on. I wanted to mention, I wanted to read some of these because there's a little bit more people that didn't know about. Even though Moderna and all these weren't on board with Operation Warp Speed, as I said in my other video, they did have vaccines, but they were being held up in warehouses. This is just some of the things the Trump haters had to say. The president neglected the president neglect all responsibility. Millions of Pfizer vaccines are piled up in their warehouses, and this failed administration is not directing the distribution. And this was an article too along those lines. Pharmaceutical company Pfizer says it has millions of doses of FDA-approved COVID-19 vaccine sitting in its warehouse with no additional instructions from the U.S. government on how to distribute it. Many states have been informed that their expected vaccine allotment will be reduced, a spokesperson said from Health and Human Services Department. Moderna boss says COVID-19 vaccine not proven to stop the spread of the virus. That was November 2020. Quote, do I believe it reduces transmission? Absolutely, yes. And I say this because of the science, he added. But absent proof, I think it's important that we don't change behaviors solely on the basis of vaccination. These are all different people that were, your Trump haters. Are you in November and December 2020? Are you actually going to let them know where they are supposed to ship them, or are you just going to let these ones sit in the warehouse? This was December 17th, 2020. Pfizer says it has millions of vaccine doses sitting in our warehouse, but hasn't been told where to send them. Now, this could be, I'm not saying that Trump's responsible for that. It's just they wanted to wait because they wanted to do it under Biden. And then these are just all Trump haters. There are millions of doses of Pfizer vaccine sitting in a warehouse waiting for the Trump administration to instruct where to send them. You should take a break from tweeting and get to work on that. This is a different one. Maybe you should tell Pfizer where to send their vaccines instead of letting hundreds and thousands of doses sit on shelves in warehouses. This was Governor Jay Ainsley. CDC has informed us that Washington's vaccine allocation will be cut 40% next week, and that all states are seeing similar cuts. This is disruptive, frustrating. We need accurate, predictable numbers to plan and ensure an on-the-ground success. No explanation was given. Turns out we can't get the shots because Trump is not ordering delivery. Maybe he wants to play the Hunger Games to see what states get the vaccine. Somebody else, ironically, the same guy, Trump, who pretended the virus didn't exist, wants credit for a vaccine for a virus he said didn't exist. Somebody else, and these are all overly educated, just morons. Millions of vaccine doses sitting in the warehouse because the Trump administration is incompetent and negligent. So, yeah, I think Trump wanted to catch all of them in their public-private partnership. All the big players. I mean, wouldn't it only make sense? Just like I said once before, in order to catch the traffickers, you got to let them traffic, right? If you're going to get every one of them. Same applies here.